Hello, this is Sarah with Full Throttle Aviation. Today I'm putting on an educational video on how to get a Part 121 proficiency check, which is your CQ or your AQP, as well as any recurrent training and any initial type ratings validated via the FAASafety.gov system so that it counts toward a flight review. Now, we all know that an initial type rating counts toward a flight review, but a lot of people are looking for employment right now and need to show a certificate that meets the flight review requirements of 6156. Therefore, I'm putting together this educational presentation on how to get that validated and to print out your own certificate via FAASafety.gov. The first thing to do is to log on to FAASafety.gov. I will be including a lot of the particulars on the numbers and all the websites and addresses in the description of this video. The first thing to do is to log on to FAASafety.gov. If you already have an account, you'll see a login on the right-hand side of the screen. If you do not have an account, you'll have to go down to create an account, at which time you'll be able to put in your email address as well as go over all of your certificates in order to create an FAASafety.gov account. Once you have successfully created an FAASafety.gov account, you can then log in. I'm going to go ahead and log into my account with my details, just for simplicity. Now, my screen is going to look a little bit different than yours because I am a FAASteam lead representative, so I have the ability to validate credits and have more administrator rights than most people have on their screen. So for you, it'll probably just say member, or if you're a representative, it might show representative right there. The next thing you're going to do is, there's a few different ways of doing this, but the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Activities on the upper left-hand side, and then select Activities. Now, there are so many different things you can actually do on here. You can do online courses, you can validate, you can ask for credit for different seminars and webinars that you're attending. You can even search for upcoming events in your area. One thing I will go over just briefly is that activities and courses, seminars, and webinars are part of the WINGS program, but the WINGS program for a flight review specifically consists of 3 knowledge activities, which are usually ground activities such as seminars, webinars, any type of ground training or recurrent training, and then it consists of 3 flight activities in order to count toward that flight review. Now, the cool thing about the 121 proficiency check and any initial type ratings is that it gives you enough credits on all phases of WINGS, basic, advanced, in order and master, and it will give you all of that all at once, so you don't have to go and do extra courses or anything like that. Once you come to this page, you have the option to kind of choose what you're searching for, and you can see that I have quite a bit of credits that I've got in the past for different seminars and different webinars and flight activities that I've attended. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to search for seminars, or actually, flight activities. And through the WINGS program, you don't need to select anything on the WINGS level. You can put 121 if you're looking for the 121 proficiency check, or I'll show you a different way of doing it where you just put in the actual number of the activity. But if you search for a 121 proficiency check, it should come up, and then from there you'll be able to request credit. I will say that the FAASafety.gov website is not the fastest website, but it is very functional for what you're looking to do. So as you can see, you go through 121 and you have a bunch of different activities that show up. The one you're going to be looking for is a Part 121 proficiency check. As you can see, there are other things here, such as the high altitude training or endorsement, if you've completed that, as well as any second in command training, simulator scenario-based training. Now, some of these are very specific to, like, say, for example, Airline Flight Center or Embry-Riddle, but there are many that are just general. So if you've completed any type of flight training recently, then you can actually request credit for that. Once you click on Part 121 Proficiency Check, it's going to come up with a screen that's going to detail all the different activities that are part of that. So as you can see, you have plenty of basic credits for your knowledge and your flight topics. So this right here is alone enough to complete a flight review. And so then you'll come down here to the bottom and you'll go to Request Credit. Once you come to request credit, it's going to give you a search bar where you can search for different people to validate that. Now, that being said, Usually, flight instructors can validate flight activities, but if it's a 121 proficiency check, I believe it needs to be somebody with at least a representative, lead representative, or a FAASTeam manager status in order to validate that. I am willing to help as much as I can to validate people who are looking to get those done. You'll have to put in the date completed. So if you completed it yesterday, you'd put yesterday's date. Recent validators, if you've used people in the past. You can also search by email. You can also try to find a validator that's within, find CFIs. You're probably going to have to go to FAASTeam representatives for 121 proficiency check, or you can search by the name. In this case, I can go ahead and put my name in there. You can search, and then you'll see that my name comes up right here, and you can select that, and then you can submit for validation. That being said, it's not automatically going to validate. Whoever you choose to validate your activity is going to have to verify that you've actually completed that activity. Usually that's done if you're an airline pilot. You can print out a copy of your training schedule. Some airlines will allow you to print out a copy of your training records that shows it was successfully passed, but you'll have to work with your validator directly to figure out what type of evidence they need, since they're going to have to show evidence whenever they go to submit that. And then from there, you'd submit that for validation. And there's other things you can do too. You can go back to activities, and you can also search for initial type ratings. Let's say that you've gone to a new type of airplane, you get a 737 type, you can then ask for validation on that. Another really quick way of doing that is to email your validator directly and tell them what you're looking for, and then they can do it on the back end without having you complete any of this. But of course, this makes it a lot easier for your validator. Let's say that you were looking for an initial type rating. You can go back to activities, and it's not the fastest website once again, and you can search for type rating, and then that will come up too, and then you can select that as well. The final thing you're going to need to do in order to get your certificate is you're going to have to get a copy of your certificate and the wings phase that you complete. I'll just show you real quick what it's going to look like to go to your type rating. So now that type rating has come up, you can go down here and you'll see that you can select initial certification for an airline transport pilot or a type rating. So if you've received a new type rating in, let's say, a 737 or 757 or a CL65, you can then request this in order to show that you have a flight review. The next step is once you've completed your validation request, and you'll get an email once it's been validated by whoever you choose, you can go over to pilots and then go to My Wings. Once My Wings has loaded, you can actually click on it, and you can actually get a certificate. And so you can go to here to Basic Wings, for example. If you've already completed one phase of wings, as you can see, I've completed quite a few more. You will then be able to click on that and get a certificate. So it'll say Certificate of Proficiency with Wings, Basics Phase 15. And then on the bottom, the second page of your certificate, you'll see a flight review where it says, this certifies, you'll have your name here, has met the requirements of 14 CFR Part 6156 flight review by virtue of having satisfactorily accomplished one or more phases of the Wings Pilot Proficiency Program. And this right here shows the date of completion, and then this is what you're going to need to show that you've completed a flight review. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to having more people involved with the FAA Safety and Wings program. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message, and I'll also be including a lot of the details in the description of the video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this has been educational, and we wish you the best. Fly safe.